Hi, welcome. I'm Jacqui Krystal, and this is Life, Living Your Fullest Evolution or Experience. And with me today is Lyretta, who has kindly, thank you, come forward, and she's going to ask a question, which is how I lead in with this segment for our newsletters. So, Lyretta, what would your question be for today?
So I've been thinking about something in my life that seems to be a pattern that I have continuously since I was a little girl. And it's something that really affects me emotionally because it makes me feel disassociated from everybody else. It makes me feel like a bit of an outsider. I get socially awkward and I feel like I'm a bit of a loner, but I don't want to be that way.
Okay.
So what it's about friendship and this cycle of somehow or other not being able to maintain long-term friendships
Right.
and feelings of abandonment and risk-taking come into that as well. It's just, I don't
Okay.
really understand.
Where it's come from.
Mm,
Okay. So when we sit in cycles or patterns in our life that we feel like we're incapacitated to change, it's generally a program of some description that's come either from, well, many different sources. It can be life experience, like conditioned responses this life, and it can come from a peer, it can come from an adult or family situation, it can come from many sources or even media. So it also can come in generationally, like genetic records, because our cells hold genetic responses, and it can come in karmically as well, which is like lives long. Okay, so if you're finding that you've got like a social awkwardness, and a lot of people would probably relate to that as well. I've talked with a lot of people who get anxieties and even depressions and panics and things like that in social situations. So what's happening there is that something's been triggered within that is possibly relative to you feeling inept in or out of control or not having the toolkit available when it first came in. So let's say if it was this life and it was when you were a child, you may have been in a circumstance where you've been overwhelmed, not had the capacities to deal with it, which is another reason that incapacity might be coming in, like incapacitated to change things or whatever it is. So it is a lot, from a healing perspective, we bring that into healing the inner child, and it's going back into that framework where it initiated, like the root of the problem is what we're looking for. So if you have a memory, say for example, maybe when you're young, at a family level that's created that, it's about now acknowledging that you're no longer the inner child, that you're no longer the totality of her with no way to change anything, and you're now a very wise, mature adult being, and that you now are capacitated to change it. And then it's about like basically saying, well, then if I'm going to change that pattern, what am I going to replace it with? What am I going to supplant it with?
yes.
hmm So the trick is to find one, the root, and basically, rooting, like weeding out a garden, taking the roots out of the garden, and then putting a new seed in, yeah, and then nourishing that seed and letting it grow. So in this situation, it'll be like, okay, I feel awkward. First thing I'm going to do is say, my weeding in this situation is acknowledge I feel awkward and it's not who I am anymore, it's who I was. The next part of that is a step into what do I want to replace it with. I'm going to just trial honesty here, and I'm going to trial being vulnerable, and I'm going to trial expression, and I'm going to see how people will respond to me, because every person is going to respond kindly to someone who goes, you know what, I'm beyond my capacities here. Yeah, and then they will also initiate a progression in a change pattern. Is that making sense at this stage?
It is, but I'm curious. So once you've highlighted as a child
Yep.
or pinpointed that feeling of abandonment and what caused it initially,
Yes.
I'm still not clear about how I, as an adult now,
Yes.
heading into my 50s,
Yep.
can change it. How? What are the tools?
Yeah, okay. You can work with other people like healers to do that, but it is a conscious replacement of, even though that's part of me, it's not part of me I choose to keep. If you had something in your wardrobe, say it was a yellow dress that you've had for years, but quite frankly you've outworn it, like it's not time. Do you want to hold on to that and keep it? And maybe your body shape has changed and you want to squeeze into that sucker, or would you just prefer to like throw it out and go and get a blue dress that's going to look lovely on you now? It's a choice. It's just a choice. So it's not about going, I'm going to find a way to make that yellow dress fit me. It's actually about going, the yellow dress is not me anymore. I'm going to make a choice to a completely different dress or
And what
shorts or whatever.
happens when you get the blue dress
Yep.
and it's like, I made a mistake, this is wrong?
Yep.
Those feelings of being rejected.
Absolutely. Really good analogy. And when they come up, you just go, well, that is going to happen, but I've already outgrown the yellow. And look at me in the blue. If I focus on how amazing I look in that blue dress, I'm going to keep on going that direction. Or, you're right, I can reflect on how good I looked once in the yellow and I feel like I shouldn't have chucked it out and what have I done? You can have that, but if you stay there, you're going to cycle again in that old
Yeah.
pattern, yeah, because you're not willing to let go of what you need to let go of in order to create the new seed. That's you replanting a weed in your garden, not letting a new seed have enough clear space to germinate.
It's scary, but it makes so much sense.
It's change is scary for humans. I don't know why. Like, I think about the mass change we just had, with COVID and everything, and how many people have actually said, what, it was actually quite good for me. And I go, can't that prove to us that change is actually good? That change is good. The most massive, mammoth change can be good. If your focus is on the direction of this is positive change for my life, and you stick with that knowingness, universe will support you. If you start to go, this is not so good, or you struggle with it, you put your resistances into it, that's when it gets hard. That's when you start to cycle. It's about having a clarity in the pathway that you made the right choice and you just stick with that choice regardless of what's called post-cognitive dissonance. So I know psychologically. So you don't need to have your brain waves just go into overdrive, which is what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
fears of rejections and things like that will
Hmm.
put you into an overdrive. You can have that, but know that when you have it, you still made a choice and you made a good choice. Stick with come back to, but I look so good in that blue dress. Doesn't matter about the yellow dress. I look so good. And you know what? That yellow dress meant to find me down the track. It will find me. No, but really, who wants the yellow dress anymore? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Catch up with you soon.